With information on a recent debut and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Talk about the segment where Cody Rhodes gave up his spot at WrestleMania to The Rock, where Cody appeared to be upset. Former WWE writer and collaborator with The Rock, Brian Gewirtz, said this to the Masked Man show. I will say Cody Rhodes is a human being who is genuine and real, and he wears his heart and emotions on his sleeve. And I will say, in Alabama, certainly even if you tell me, dude, that will never work. That's stupid to even propose it, but the idea was supposed to be, again, it's like a Nixon-Kennedy debate a little bit, where it's like if you read the transcript, you're like, oh, Nixon kicked his ass. If you watch the actual footage, you go, ah, it was a sweaty, terrible mess, because Cody, it was supposed to be in some form like, yeah, F&A, go get him, Rock, you're gonna get your ass kicked, Roman, let's do this, and kind of this uplifting promo, and instead, he looked like someone shot his dog in the face in the parking lot. Like you said, just look at his expression, and by the way, someone else who, even when the team wins, sometimes looks forlorn and upset and despondent, Julius Randle. Hey, so yeah, that I don't think helped matters. It might not have changed, it might not have affected anything, but certainly on paper, and by the way, I didn't even blame Cody for that because he's real. He's one of the realest people I've ever met, so yeah, it's like he said what he had to say in the promo, but you couldn't mask what he was really feeling, and I think the fans felt that a lot. I think the fans felt like he doesn't mean a word of this. This is being forced for him to say. He's despondent. He's literally doing the Michael Cera Arrested Development Charlie Brown walk out of the arena when he's supposed to be on cloud 9, so I think that had a lot to do with it and the conversation. Cody Rhodes addressed these comments, telling Inside the Ropes he might have a point. He might, only because I didn't think of myself. The moment was so real. I guess I didn't think of myself in a performance sense of you're not smiling or you are smiling, and then the final boss had whispered something in my ear that was actually really kind and nice, and I did smile. And then I think not so much about my face. The thing I remember about it is I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get out of there. I did want them to have their moment. I wanted to be gone. I didn't want people to linger on me. It seems like I would never shade our production team, especially with what Brian Fadem and Lee Fitting, everyone is doing. I think they might have spent a little too much time focused on me in the first place and not focused on that potential matchup, because yeah, I don't think I offered up. Brian probably has a point. I don't think I offered up the best faces for what that should have been. I certainly wasn't trying to be a boo-boo face. You know, boo-boo is famous in the industry when something's up and you can tell upon somebody's entrance. But maybe I was like the number one case of it of all time. Who knows? I did not think they would spend so much time on me. I did not think they would be looking at me while I was in the aisle. I just wanted to get back to my bus. I actually didn't go through Gorilla. I walked around it. I didn't want to see anybody. I just sprinted and got on my bus and just locked the door. Speaking of Triple H, he was noticeably absent from the post-Bash in Berlin media scrum, with Ringside News writing that WWE hosted an event in Germany at Bash in Berlin, but Triple H had another commitment. As a family man, he was needed at home. His oldest daughter is going to college, and that's a moment he won't miss. During the Bash in Berlin post-show press conference, Cody Rhodes took over Triple H's responsibilities, discussing the numbers and business matters. He also explained why Triple H wasn't present. Cody mentioned that college is starting in America and Triple H's daughter is beginning her college journey. Triple H chose not to miss this important moment, so he left early to be with his family. Asked about the lawsuit from former WWE employee Janelle Grant against Vince McMahon and the company over sex trafficking, Cody Rhodes said this at the post-Bash in Berlin media scrum. In terms of the locker room being quiet or silent, it may be. I don't think that's a matter of belief versus non-belief. I think it's strictly speaking, we want to be doing what we were doing out there, and the focus and attention it takes for 13,149 people to have a great story and match and do that every single night has left most most of us where we're finding the information out just as you are, and that includes the resolution of this information in terms of what happened, how it happened, and how justice comes about, whatever it may be. I would look at it as an active attempt to the locker room to be silent in the sense we just are doing what we do day-to-day WWE business. I don't know enough about the information to give you a good enough answer there. I'm sorry. With WrestleMania 42 mistakenly announced for Philadelphia, Ringside News wrote that WrestleMania's yearly location creates significant global interest and brings in millions of dollars in outside revenue. Recently, there was confusion about the location of WrestleMania 42 following comments made by Pennsylvania's governor. In response, the Pennsylvania governor's office has issued an apology for the misunderstanding. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro hinted that WrestleMania 42 will be returning to Philadelphia in 2026 as part of the USA 250 celebrations. He mentioned this during a Q&A video on Twitter, creating excitement among wrestling fans. So get this, in Philly, we've got the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, we got the FIFA World Cup, we got WrestleMania, we got a little golf action, the PGA Championship, and if you go over to Pittsburgh, we've got the NFL Draft and a lot more cool stuff happening all across Pennsylvania in the year 2026 for USA 250. However, it was then reported that many were surprised when Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro mentioned that WrestleMania 2026 would be in Philadelphia, as this hadn't been discussed within the company. It was added that the location for WrestleMania 2026 hasn't been finalized yet. Some people within WWE speculated that Shapiro might have been talking about WWE events in general and possibly misspoke. It was also mentioned that the location for WrestleMania 42 was supposedly decided months ago, with Minneapolis being ruled out after losing the bid for WrestleMania 41. There had been some internal discussion about the location, but it quickly died down, leaving the final decision unclear. Sean Ross Sapp took to Twitter and noted that the governor's office issued an apology, clarifying that their earlier statement about WrestleMania 2026 being held in Philadelphia was a mistake. They apologized for the confusion, noting that while WrestleMania won't take place in Pennsylvania in 2026, they are excited about the other big events planned for that year. The office also mentioned their eagerness to work with WWE and wrestling fans in Pennsylvania to bring more events to the state in the future. This comment came from Manuel Bonder, a spokesman for Governor Shapiro. The governor's office has reached out to Fightful, saying that their comment today indicating WrestleMania 2026 to Philly was a mistake. This statement was mistaken, and we apologize for the confusion amid all the incredible events Pennsylvania is excited to host in 2026. While WrestleMania won't be here in 26, we look forward to continuing to work with WWE and wrestling fans all across our Commonwealth to bring more great events to PA in the future. Comment from Manuel Bonder, spokesman for Governor Shapiro. Also, Cody Rhodes would say this about the upcoming Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix. In terms of if I'm gonna watch it, not to sound cheeky, I'm in a deep Game of Thrones rewatch and it's a hell of a commitment. I think there's a bit of misinformation in terms of WWE has no involvement in this documentary as far as I know. I imagine I would get around to seeing it. During that same post-show media scrum, Cody Rhodes was asked about being insecure about losing his status as the poster boy of WWE, as he said, "They're not insecurities and concerns, but I'd be naive to not acknowledge the challenge. I love this, and maybe just going off my last answer, one of the things, again, I've had a lifetime of experience to get ready for this. That's the biggest challenge for me in terms of what's the new task for me. Again, the idea of being the poster boy and all, oh my gosh. That's an amazing feeling. That's special. It will end at some point, but I will put up every bit of a fight, and it's not just Roman Reigns, it's John Cena's farewell run. I'm up there in very rare air with special characters, with people like CM Punk. I would say it's a great problem to have for WWE, and I think, strictly speaking, the man you mentioned and myself, we'd like that. We have pitted ourselves against ourselves, not just at WrestleMania in the main event, but in every aspect behind the scenes too, and not in a dishonest way, in an honest way. Better man's gonna win, and that's a good problem to have. When asked about her experience transitioning from AEW to WWE, Jade Cargill said this at the post-Bash in Berlin media scrum. "You know what? I'm so tired of answering questions about AEW. I'm proud to be from there, however, I'm here. The answer is that I'm here, and I want to focus on what's next, and that's solidifying and owning these tag team titles and making a name for ourselves." For a legal update on Sunny, Ringside News wrote that the civil trial involving WWE Hall of Fame legend Tammy Sunny Sytch, originally scheduled for October 2024, has been postponed to March 2025. The trial is related to a lawsuit brought forth by the estate of Julian Lasseter, who tragically passed away following a traffic accident in March 2022 involving Sytch. The decision to delay the trial was made during a recent hearing before the Circuit Court of the 7th Judicial Circuit in Volusia County, Florida. The lawsuit, which seeks damages in excess of $30,000, details the events leading to the tragic incident. On March 25, 2022, Tammy Sytch was allegedly intoxicating while operating a motor vehicle southbound on North Young Street near the intersection of West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach, Volusia County, Florida. At the same time, Julian L. Lasseter was also driving southbound North Young Street at the same intersection. The lawsuit claims that Sytch negligently operated her vehicle, resulting in a collision with the rear end of Lasseter's vehicle. The impact caused severe and incapacitating injuries to Lasseter, leading to his death on the same day. This case has garnered significant attention due to Sytch's high-profile status in the wrestling world. The postponement of the trial allows more time for both sides to prepare, but it also prolongs the resolution of this tragic incident. As the new trial date approaches in March of 2025, further developments are expected, and the wrestling community, along with the public, will be watching closely to see how this legal matter unfolds. On X, Cody Rhodes posted a video of himself with Kevin Owens following their match at Bash in Berlin. Going over his plans for the future in WWE, Randy Orton said this at the Bash in Berlin kickoff show. "Already, I'm in amazing company with Flair, Cena, and then I'm tied at 14 world titles with Triple H, so I'm in very good company. I would almost say that after I was given my second chance at in-ring competition, that I was satisfied, but then we had the King of the Ring. Then the finish happened at King of the Ring where my shoulders weren't all the way down, and I got an opportunity to face Gunther at Bash in Berlin for the world title. I've got some time left to do this. I feel better than I felt in over a decade. I want that title, and I want to be a 15-time world champion, and then a 16-time world champion, and even a 17-time world champion, and set yet another record here in the WWE." Expressing his desire to return to NXT, Baron Corbin, who is on SmackDown currently, told Denise Salcedo, "Yeah, let me get like 2 or 3 more years back on the main roster, then I'll finish out back down there because I loved it so much. Yeah, let's go, let's go." For more details regarding the confrontation between Randy Orton and Machine Gun Kelly, Ringside News wrote that Sean Ross Sapp reported on Fightful Select that though he isn't on tour, Randy Orton's social media interactions with MGK were a big point of discussion this week from those they spoke to. In case you need refresher, during the SummerSlam weekend, MGK accompanied Logan Paul to the ring and was involved in Paul's match against LA Knight. Before the event at Cleveland Brown Stadium began, MGK crossed paths with Orton, recalling past criticisms Orton had made about him. On Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, MGK shared how he felt hesitant at first, but ultimately chose to stand up for himself. "I was in the ring, just coming to Logan to see what we could work out for the show. I saw Randy Orton. I remember seeing Randy Orton talk about me. There is a point where I was like, I'm going to practice a new version of myself. 3, 2, 1, F that. Hey man, F you." MGK noted that his friends were shocked by the confrontation, highlighting how people often misjudge him as as the aggressor in such situations. All my boys were sitting there stunned. Is this real? I don't know what's happening. The amount of people that pin me as the aggressor in every situation I'm in are so wrong. Explaining why he joined AEW, former WWE star Ricochet said this to Sports Illustrated. Honestly, the biggest reason is that I've been doing this for a long time, 21 years this time, and for me, the time when I was like having the most fun in my career, when I was like traveling the world with those crazy lunatics in the back there, it's literally the time when I was having the most fun. Despite what people may think, it's not always been bad for Ricochet. I've had fun my entire career, no matter where I went. I've always had fun. That's not going to change. But when I was having the most fun was when I was hanging out with these guys and traveling the world with these guys and having matches with these guys and creating the art that I really like to make for, I feel like, the Ricochet fans out there who's been, I guess just missing the opportunity to shine. But for me, it's to have fun again and to create that art again. It was definitely a big decision, but honestly, yes and no. Obviously, yes, it was hard because it's a place I've been for the last 6 years. I got some really good connections, some friends, and some good memories there. So it was definitely hard, but at the same time, no, it wasn't because I am a person who has always changed. I've always done stuff, so that's something that I was looking forward to, and I just saw what AEW was doing. I saw the guys and girls over there and what they were doing, and it just seems so fun. You want to be part of it. Now that I'm able to be a part of it and hopefully help move it forward into the next generation is going to be awesome. So, as hard of a decision as it was, I knew it was the right decision. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.